If you are a single guy in the Bay Area, you are just kidding. Let me modify my statement. If you are a single guy and you're not living in San Francisco, my prediction is that you're probably having a hard time with dating unless you're one of the top 5% of guys. What's the top 5% exception? I'm talking about over 5'9", work at a tech company, commonly known as the tech bro. Not to stereotype, but that's what I've seen over 8 years living in the Bay Area. If you're one of these guys, this video is not for you. Have fun browsing YouTube and see you on the next one. For the rest of us, in this video, I'm going to explain why dating in the Bay is so difficult, why it feels like it's stacked against you as a guy, and I'm going to give you some solutions that I've seen work for my clients living in the Bay Area, okay? By the end of this video, you should have some very solid steps and plans in place to improve your dating life if you live in the Bay Area. The biggest reason of all is ratios. While it is historically true, there have always been more men on the West Coast compared to the East Coast. The Bay Area has one of the worst single male to single female ratios in the world. And this has been true for the last 20 years. Especially in the 20 to 34 age range, there are plenty of areas where men outnumber women by over 40%. This is a huge power difference because even a small percentage change is a huge shift in your power dynamics in dating. There are over 7.7 million people living in the Bay Area. Now imagine just a fraction, 1 million of those are singles. Now imagine that 55% of them are men. That means that there are 450,000 single women compared to 550,000 single men. That means that in your city, there's a shortage of 100,000 women and that you're competing with over 100,000 additional men. That's just a 5% difference. With the exception of the Marina District, where I remember we used to go to meet, usually younger girls in their 20s. Everywhere else in the city and in the South Bay and the East Bay has more men than women. In fact, for residents in the Bay Area, it has gotten so bad. This term has been coined by men in the Bay, the 49er, a female that resides in San Francisco who thinks she's a 9 when she is really a 4. I've even personally experienced this living in the South Bay. Really, who is to blame? Because it's not really the girl's fault. I have seen the same entitled behavior in men in Brazil. When I traveled there and lived there with my friends, I saw men with a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 women to 1 man. And I saw men behaving deplorably because there were so many beautiful women and the ratios were in their favor. As human beings, in any group of people, it's not really their fault because it's in our nature as humans. When there's a group of people that experience something in their favor over a period of time, we start to feel entitled and take it for granted. When I first got to Google, I couldn't believe they were giving away free sushi for lunch. And then I heard people complaining, "Hey man, you don't have this type of sushi. You guys should have this type of sushi." And I'm like, bro, you're getting free sushi. What are you complaining about? There are 14 different cafes on the Googleplex. So given the intense competition of the Bay Area, there's even been a new breed of gold diggers, the founder hounder.
Women like that.
Okay, so she's a founder hounder. Come on, no, it's not like that.
But you did tell her that you're the CEO of your own company?
If you don't believe me, go read Larry Ellison or Steve Jobs' biography and pay attention to how they met their potential girlfriends and wives. A lot of pretty girls simply take it for granted or they stop working on themselves. In fact, I had a very beautiful friend when I was living in San Jose. And I had met her when she was already in a relationship and we developed a very honest friendship. One day I took Lily out to boba tea and we were just sitting on the grass hanging out and she said to me, the girls here, Giovanni, they're so low quality compared to Serbia. In Serbia, I'm just a normal girl, but here I'm like a 9. I don't even have to work out, I don't have to put makeup on, and I'm still the hottest one here. You should totally go to my hometown, I think you'll like it. Given this reality, what can you do about it if you live in the Bay right now? Here are a couple of solutions that I work with clients on and that I implemented myself. Move, seriously. Moving to a new city, a new country, anywhere else is better than the Bay. I have been to many cities in the US as a coach, and I can't think of any major city with over 1 million people that's worse for dating than San Francisco. If you're rich enough to live in San Francisco, you should be fine, but you can do better with the same rent costs in other cities like LA, San Diego, Miami, Austin, or New York. So we used to drive up to San Francisco and Sausalito, up 2 hours north from Mountain View. And we found places that had easy parking or cheap parking. Sometimes we even found free parking. And we would map those out on Google Maps, me and my friend. And then we would figure out like places in the East Bay, in Sausalito, in Pleasanton, where we could go where there might be some girls. But really, most of our adventures happened around the city. Union Square, the Marina District, Nob Hill. San Francisco became our second home. We figured out the train schedules to go up to San Francisco from Mountain View. We figured out the public transportation. We figured out the free parking. We figured out where to hang out in hotels where we could stay for an extended period of time without getting kicked out for free. Back then, I just started my tech career and we were just figuring out how to be in the city as efficiently as possible, cost-wise and time-wise. And there were a lot of good memories that were made. If you hang around Union Square, there are a lot of all pairs, and they're usually there to have fun. We also met a lot of girls who live in the city, artists, tech, people that work in tech, and that's the beauty of San Francisco. We found secret rooms in hotels. We would figure out how to live in a friend's living room on Fridays so we don't have to drive home. In Palo Alto and the Stanford area, I also found some good locations. The problem was that after a certain age, you can't really hang out on campus too much. And when I went back to the Bay recently, there was just a bunch of families, and it was really hard to even find a girl with, between 21 to 30 who was actually even single. But if you can make San Francisco a home base and do it safely and cheaply, there's a way to actually have a good dating life. Third solution, build a small, intimate social circle. Here is a picture of us throwing a party. I gotten 5 guys together and I said, listen, we live in the South Bay, but if we work together, we can actually accomplish more than any one of us can by ourselves. And so we actually made a group pact where we're gonna make as many female friends as possible. We're gonna invite as many girls as we can to this party and cool people. And we're gonna try to throw parties that were fun, engaging, with a good ratio in the South Bay, okay? And over time, we started to be known for some of the better parties in the South Bay. Here was a pool house that we borrowed, that we used as the party center. It's not always about the resources you have, it's about your resourcefulness. So get a group of guys together, go on a mission, and make it a focus. Yes, it's harder than other areas, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Solution number 4 is take trips away. My friends go to Mexico, Brazil, back to Asia, and then they come back to the Bay and they're like, oh my God, dating is so different outside of the Bay, right? When you live in one area for too long, your mind starts to play tricks on you. It makes you think that what you're seeing is actually normal, when in fact, it's a microcosm of just the Bay Area. What you're seeing is untrue. Guys don't always get treated by women this way. And the power dynamic isn't always this bad. It's not normal. Solution 5, which 2 of my clients are doing right now, they negotiated remote work opportunities with companies in the Bay Area. And they moved to other cities in the US that were better for dating. In fact, one of them right now is overseas. When I was in LA, I was working for a company that was headquartered in San Francisco. And I negotiated that I would fly back once a month to check in with my manager and my team. What was cool about that was that I got access to the LA dating scene with a Bay Area salary. Solution number 6, import a girlfriend. It's not the solution I would advise my clients, but I personally know of 3 people. One of them has a Taiwanese wife, another one has a Filipino wife, and another one has a Chinese wife. The wives don't speak English that well, but these guys all have high-paying Bay Area jobs, and they seem very happy. One of the guys I had dinner with, he said every day when I go back home, the house is clean, the cooking is done. They wanted these traditional wives, and they didn't really care if their wives, interacted with other people. So it's not my dream, but I can see how that worked for them, and now they've got kids now. So that's another option too. You can import your wife from another country. Solution 7 is what I did, which was have a master plan. I waited. I had a 2 to 3 year time period where I waited. And what I focused on was that if I trained hard in the Bay, in other places I would be better. So I focused on the process over the outcome. I knew that the power dynamics were not in my favor, but I knew that because of that, my margin of error was smaller, which meant that if I messed up talking to a girl, she would reject me because she had a lot more options. But that means that my game had to be tighter. So I felt like I was in a hyperbolic time chamber. And during those 2-3 years, I just trained really hard. I wasn't after the particular girl, I was after the skill set. How do I talk to this girl to get a consistent phone number? Now, I know she's getting texts from all these other founders and rich tech guys. How do I get her attention? So I saw it as a challenge and I started working on my skills. And when I moved away from the Bay, what happened was beyond what I expected. Seriously, it was like a pressure cooker. And what you'll find is that a lot of famous people that had a period of time in obscurity, guys like David Beckham, Jeremy Lin, Blackpink, they had a period of time when they had to work against the grain, or they didn't have that pressure from being well known. And during that period was what we call the training period, where they acquired the skills that they needed. And then there came this moment where it just exploded because they had that time period of pressure cooker where they could train. Once I moved away from the Bay, I got into modeling social circles. I actually even got into modeling for a while. Because of the social skills that I learned, I started dating girls that were way beyond any caliber that I ever imagined, and it was a blast. Those were some of the best years of my single life. So start making that 2 to 3 year master plan. Now, if you're single, maybe you're living in the Bay Area, or maybe you're in some other city. Here are my thoughts to you, because I wanted to be the coach that I wish I had. And here's what I would say to my 23-year-old self. Look, don't waste the physically best years of your life sitting in front of a computer. In college, you studied and you got a great GPA so you could get a great job. Now you're building your career and your earning potential, and you're doing well at that. But don't waste all of it on work, because you'll regret it. College, you were a virgin because you missed out on the college girl experience. Now you're in your 20s and now it's your career. There's always something, some excuse preventing you from dealing with this area of your life. And even if you make a lot of money, even if you increase your earning potential, who are you sharing it with? Are you really happy doing it alone? Building the social skills, dating skills, talking to people, attracting people, connecting with people. These skills are gonna increase your earning potential exponentially as you get older. And it translates to money later on. So please, if you resonate with this message, don't spend the majority of your life in front of a computer alone. And if you want some help getting out of that situation, if you're in that situation, I empathize because I was that guy. You may want to check out the links in the description. At this link right here, you can get access to the First Date Formula, where I have laid down the foundations of my 10 years in learning how to do this. How to approach girls that I don't know, how to do my online dating properly, how I build my social circle. A decade of my knowledge, step by step, copy and paste text, lines, and blueprints that you can use to get the results right away. But more importantly, also the principles that help you calibrate over time so you can make these your own, so no other guy can copy your type of authentic attraction. Just go to this link or check out the links in my description. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.